Mics are live and we are live on.
Run beans, or are you gonna
Yeah.
do corn?
Welcome everyone
It's
to
not
our
even turning
September
yet.
8th. Well, that's loud. You got it turned up. All right, to our September 8th Plan Commission meeting. Everyone, please rise. I recognize a quorum. Please rise and we'll say pledge allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Wait for Amber to get up there. First thing on our agenda tonight is approval of minutes. Did everyone have a time to look at the August 11th minutes? Are there any corrections or additions to our minutes? If not, I'll call for a motion.
Move approval.
Melanie moves to approve. You have a second? Michelle seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next on our agenda is approval of agenda. Any additions or corrections to our agenda for tonight? No? If none, I'll call for a motion.
Move to approve?
Second? Second by Mr. Patrick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Bill, I believe you have to, statement.
What?
You got to recuse yourself from one of the items?
On the second item, number B.
Okay. Bill Rumbaugh must recuse himself from B. He has a conflict. All right. Bill, when it's time, we'll ask you to leave. When it's time, we'll just ask you to go outside. So, thanks, Bill. We'll move on. New business. Item A, public hearing for minor plat petition MIP 2515. Rodney and Becky Collier are seeking approval for a 6-lot minor plat. 31-acre parcel is generally located at 2021 Deer Lake Drive in Washington Township and is zoned ag. Mr. Droplick?
Yep. My name is Ross Droplick, and I'm with Droplick Surveying and Engineering, and I'm representing Rodney and Rebecca Collier this evening. They're unable to be here as they're on vacation. What we are asking for is for approval of a 6-lot minor plat, which is south and east of Section 5 in Legendary Hills. Couple things that we want to make note about is that there is currently a house on what is shown as lot number 1 on the plat. That's where the Colliers actually live at this point. And their access to the property is through the 40-foot right-of-way, which is designated as Deer Run on this plat. Now there is, and that's just for clarity, because there was another street right-of-way within Legendary Hills Section 1 that was previously unnamed, that at some point in time had been assigned the name Deer 1 after the Deer Run was on the section, or the final plat for Section 5. So that's just really for clarity as far as showing where that dedicated right-of-way is. Now, the streets within Legendary Hills, including that right-of-way, are private. They're owned by the Legendary Hills Homeowners Association. But at this point, that's where the access for the Colliers' dwelling is through that right-of-way. For the proposed layout, what we're proposing is the construction of a new 50-foot right-of-way or an easement that would be a privately maintained road that would serve all 6 lots, and then that would extend down to Legendary Drive. Legendary Drive is an interesting character because it's not in a dedicated right-of-way and is not on HOA property. It actually crosses part of this property and then the property on the north side of Legendary Drive, the physical asphalt. What we're proposing, and then there is an easement that serves, that allows for the access into Legendary Hills proper. What we're proposing is that we would be dedicating half of a right-of-way, or 25 foot, from the center of that road to the public. Now, that doesn't mean that it becomes a county road, because the road that's there is not to county standards, but the right-of-way itself would be dedicated for whoever's use. So we're not asking for anyone to take that road over. It's just that that right-of-way would be established. The property is currently served by Martinsville Municipal Water and Sewer. So we're proposing that we would be connecting to the water and the sewer for all 6 lots. Other than that, minimum size lot is lot number 3 at 2.3 acres, which is in excess of the 2-acre minimum for agriculturally zoned property. I believe it's really a rather straightforward request. So if there are any questions, I would like to entertain to answer those at this time.
You know, the topography of those properties is pretty,
Yes, when we actually have the topography. It was flown around 20 years ago. And so we did lay out a lot of this based off the topography to where there would be a good house site on each one. With that being said, there should be questions about whether or not this should be developed or not. But since Deer Run was stubbed out as a 40-foot right-of-way, our firm has actually been involved with this project back when Mike Wolf originally owned all the property. And so we've been involved with all the sections in Legendary Hills. So we know that at some point in time, there was consideration for this area to be platted. But at this point, you know, with the zoning ordinances and things, and the topography, that it's felt that it's best to be developed with larger lots rather than the smaller lots as you would see in the balance of Legendary Hills. Mr. Rumball, you had a question?
Yeah, a question, on either side of lot 6, there appears to be 2 dead spaces. What are those?
Okay, so on the west side, that's just an extension of lot number 1. Mr. Collier wanted to maintain that property in his name, or as part of that property. The triangular shaped piece that's between lot 6 and 1, or lots 1 and 6, 6 and 5, that's part of lot 1. So that's the way that he,
One, that 1 and 6, this triangle piece.
Yeah, that one piece, triangle piece.
yes, it's a very odd shaped piece. He's got a barn over there between 5 and 6 that he wants to maintain with the residents. So that's why that's configured the way that it is.
And 6 and 5, that weird shaped section there?
Yes, that's all still part of lot number 1.
Thank you.
Now, the triangular shaped piece then between lots number 1 and 6, that is actually part of Mr. Collier's ground, but he is intending to convey that to the property to the southeast. That would be done prior. It will be made part of that property, which would be fall under the exempt subdivisions, which would still allow us to do a 6-lot split.
is there a building on that little triangle piece now? Is that why they're taking
No,
that out?
no, and it's basically, it's not really of any value to lots number 1 or 6. It really is more value to the property to the southeast.
Okay. Who maintains the road, since there wasn't an easement through there? Is that,
I will defer that to someone else. I'm assuming that probably the association's got the most interest in the roads at this part, so whether they maintain that Legendary Drive up to where it actually goes into the subdivision, I'm assuming that they do.
okay, I was just curious. Any other questions for Mr. Droplet? No more questions? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
No, we'll call people up in a minute. Laura, you got anything you'd like to add right now before we move on to? No? Okay. Move into persons in support of petition. Kevin Presnell, would you like to speak? Nothing to add? Okay. All right. We will move on to opposition. Here, Laura, read those for me.
Sachlapen, close.
Please come up and state your name and the address, your address.
Yes, my name is Lori Sachlaben, and I'm a resident of the Legendary Hills
Okay.
subdivision. I do, by the way, along with some of the other residents, we've put together a handout. If we may distribute that now to the commission. Okay, and as you probably know, Legendary Hills is a subdivision of about 80 families in an area, a property that is immediately adjacent to this proposed plat. We are asking the commission to reject this petition for a number of reasons that I will enumerate, and then other speakers will expand on some of these points. I think, unlike what Mr. Droplik said, the proposal is not straightforward. In fact, it will have significant negative, thank you, negative impact, and even pose some very real danger to the residents of Legendary Hills. I'll start with the most important issue, which is that the access point that you've just heard about that's been proposed is unsafe. The proposed 50-foot access road enters Legendary Drive and enters into their proposed plat at the absolute crest of a steep hill, an 8% grade. It's the worst possible place to be creating a new road, especially when you start to think about what happens with left turns on icy roads. The proposed point is at the top of a grade. Further, it's just below a blind intersection. This is going to create significant hazards for homeowners, pedestrians, school buses, emergency vehicles. Adding this kind of traffic to a dangerous location poses a very real risk, and we have at least several speakers who can expand on what this actually looks like. But we are arguing that they've chosen a very unfortunate and potentially dangerous access point. Now, interestingly enough, there is available a safer alternate access. The applicant has a number of alternatives for creating an independent, standalone, safe access to a public road through their own land via, as it happens to be, an associate's property. That associate being Kevin Presnell, whose name you will see on the proposed bylaws for the new subdivision. This, if they chose that access point, would eliminate the need to burden Legendary Hills completely with additional traffic and safety issues. If you look at your handout and you see the map that has the colored A, B, and C, A represents where they want to go in. That's the top of the hill, the blind spot, the dangerous left turn. B is an area that cuts through what you can see is level ground, belongs to Presnell, relatively clear already. And then C is Cloverleaf Road. We don't know a lot about Cloverleaf Road, but again, it represents another potential access point that would avoid entirely the problem that this creates potentially for Legendary Hills. Again, we have other speakers who will talk to this in more detail. Another point worth noting is that this road that's been proposed, this 50-foot access road, would create transformative change for at least two of our neighbors. Those neighbors are here. It would essentially create roads on all four sides of their properties, including a construction road that would probably be used for months, if not years, by heavy traffic, and would significantly cut across an area that currently is just treed lot. So they will speak to that point as well. The proposed point is immediately adjacent to two existing homes. Again, for them, it would be transformative and not in a good way. And for at least another 4 to 6 properties, this still represents a major headache. Another point I'd like to bring up is the environmental and habitat impact that something like this would have. Large portions of the land that you're looking at, the land that is the proposed plat, they're hilly, they've got ravines, they've got mature trees, they've got spectacular wildlife, including wild turkey, fox, deer. We've all seen these animals. A lot of people live in Legendary Hills to enjoy this kind of nature. Development and increased traffic would force the wildlife into either agricultural land or actually probably onto I-69, and I think you know what would happen then. So again, I'd say a significant problem with quality of life and the environment. Another point worth raising is that this would create an unreasonable burden on a private road. You asked earlier about title and maintenance. Title to portions of Legendary Drive may rest with Collier and Blankenship. Legendary Hills HOA maintains that road under our bylaws at the expense of subdivision members. Allowing outside development to use this road unfairly shifts the cost and liability onto the HOA, and we have not heard of any potential receipt of benefits from this subdivision. We have not been asked. And by the way, speaking of not being asked and not being communicated with, this plan, the proposed road that you see leading in, has changed at least twice since the last meeting of your board. And you might recall that at that meeting, you asked the petitioners to notify appropriate residents of what is going to be done. The boilerplate letter went out, so they complied with that request. And
We never heard this.
I'm sorry?
This has never been heard before.
Oh, okay. I was under the impression that this was proposed once before and was, okay.
It was never heard in front, it was never heard in front of this board. Well, it was never heard in front.
Oh, okay. So my apologies.
No, that's fine.
Right. Oh, okay. Out of time? We'll have other speakers to address some of the other points. Thank you.
Hang on, ma'am. Is there any questions? Anybody have any questions for her?
What is do you have fees to maintain the road in Legendary Hills, for the existing homeowners?
Specific fees for road maintenance? I don't believe so.
I'm sorry. May I answer? I'm the vice president.
She's our board member from the HOA.
Will you sign up to speak later? You can speak then.
Okay.
That was my question.
We'll ask her that, Bill, whenever she comes up to speak.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Brock, could we be provided with a copy of their exhibits so that we can?
Yeah, yep, you got an extra copy? Who we got?
J.C. Martinez.
J.C. Martinez? You'll pass? Devin?
Devin?
Is it Devin Martinez? Please state your name, your address for us, please.
My name is Devin Martinez. I live at 2005 Deer Lake Drive, and the proposed road on the plans would go directly behind my residence and would eliminate a lot of the privacy and safety that I have for my children already. Like it was mentioned before, it'll create essentially a landlocked portion where both my neighbor at 2015 Deer Lake Drive and myself have roads on all 4 sides. A lot of the concerns I have go along with the visibility of the intersection, the safety that's gonna go on there is difficult to really think about because the position of the intersection would be at a grade that's, like they said, 8%. And if I understand correctly, reading through ordinances and the American Association of State and Highway Transportation guidelines, it's recommended that an intersection doesn't go in a point above 6% grade. Another thing that I'm concerned about in general, I work for 911, so I experience a lot of these calls. Neighborhoods right off interstates tend to see a lot more crime, either seasonally or just one-offs. And by creating a subdivision in that position, that placement, it would make us much more visible from the interstate, thus much more susceptible to crime. If the road were to run through the associate's property, it would reduce the potential that they would drive onto our private road and then know about the neighborhood, because most people don't know where Legendary Hills is unless, you know, you're from Martinsville and you've been here for a while. And a lot of the crimes you see up in the Homestead Edition in Monrovia, those are people passing through either through Indy or going to Terre Haute. And just from my experience working for Morgan County Dispatch, it would just put the residents and their property in general danger. I'm also concerned about what would happen with my property value and what's it gonna look like in the end. My wife and I just bought this house earlier this year, and had we bought it next year and this road were already there, or had we looked at it next year and the road were already there, we would not have purchased the property. It'll take away a lot of our privacy, because where the road would run, we have a small privacy fence around our pool, but then it would create high visibility directly over the fence, and it would completely eliminate the reasoning for having it other than safety issues. We're also concerned, like, what is the plan with, like, what happens with the drainage? Is that gonna cause more erosion to my property, to my neighbor's property? Are the plans going to, you know, account for what I may have to deal with? And I think that's the majority of my issues. If there's any questions.
Any questions? No? All right, thank you. Joshua Jones?
Good evening. My name is Joshua Jones, the resident at 2015 Deer Lake Drive. In opposition of the plat due to the road behind our home, as my neighbor Devin spoke to some of the visibility as that road, given the current topography where that road would be turning into the field behind our house as what it is now. There's a large ravine there, and for it to meet the grade where the utilities come in and meet at the top of the hill, as you'll see on the plat, looks like there's a utility easement right there at the top of the hill. The grade is steep, so they're gonna have to build that road up. So that road coming across behind Devin and I's house on 2005 and 2015 is gonna be superiorly higher than the grade of our backyards. So any fence that we can fathom on building is gonna be too short for them to still see right over the top. So as far as privacy goes, it's been eliminated, and we're landlocked all 4 ways. So that's a concern for us. Also, the fact of the runoff of the water. So we sit down below a hill. So Deer Run, I believe, is on the plat there. That short little section that stops at the top next to my property. That is a hill. My house sits at the bottom of that hill already. So when they put a road that's going to be 50-foot wide, shoulder to shoulder, based on their plans. We're looking at a sheet of water rushing down and off of either side of that, not only heading to our property, but heading towards the main road, which our HOA maintains. So instead of that water coming down out of the air and into the grass and slowly seeping down the hill like it should, now we're looking at sheets and sheets of a 50-foot wide road of just sheet water. And that's a totally different ballgame than water rushing down a grassy hill. Talking before I run out of time on the drive up the hill, I provided some photos in the handout that we provided to you as we're coming up the hill in my vehicle. In the evening time, you'll see a specific glare at the crest of that hill. The crest of that hill, the pavement, as you see it disappear, that's where the marker is to end that drive. And my car is where that drive will start. So as you're coming 15 to 20 miles an hour up that hill, you're going to make a left-hand turn into that drive as someone's coming down the drive at 15, 20 miles an hour. We're going to have a problem. Okay, and that's how we have to look at that. It's already a little bit sketchy at this point right now, but adding that in there will completely make it treacherous. So we ask for an alternate route to be coming through the Presnell side on the bottom, down there towards the main access road. The grade coming in there will be a lot easier for them to build the road anyway. So, and it comes through their road, and they can actually, if you look at the plat, how it comes to a cul-de-sac, their new road proposed. If you did it flipped and started that beginning of that road down there at the corner and ran it up the hill instead of from the top down and did a cul-de-sac at the top, they would have no access to our neighborhood. So just wanted to point that out. So if they created their own in and out, we wouldn't have this problem.
He has a pointer right
Yeah,
there.
it's a pointer that you could.
There's
Oh.
a laser
point
pointer
to
right
that
there.
Okay.
For us, that would be helpful.
That would work. There we go. Okay, so this corner here is if we brought that access in and went up the hill and created a cul-de-sac here versus the cul-de-sac being here and this road coming from over here is what we're asking. So coming in, cul-de-sac here, and then come back down. It's in and out, wide enough road to call it 2 ways in and 2 ways out, 50-foot wide. So
Where's your house?
my house on this map is right, I'm shaking.
It's okay,
Sorry.
it's all right.
On Deer Run right there, yes, right there, yep. Right there I am. So, all right. Thank you very much for your time. Any questions?
Other questions? For Mr. Jones? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Candace Jones, you got anything? Would you like? Oh, okay. Is that Michelle? Tanel? Is it Michelle Tanel? Okay.
And hello to all of you.
You can pull that down so you can speak right, you have to speak right into it.
I'm a little bit short. So my name is Michelle Tennell, and we live at 1248 Deer Lake Court. And as you look on the map, do I have, yes, I do.
So you can't get the contours out.
I'm not sure how to do this exactly. Can you see? Oh, there it is. Okay, so we live exactly right there. And so I have seen some proposals which would perhaps bring Plan C on this map that would come right behind our area, our home. And we would then, we're on a hill and the water runs down, but down at the bottom of the water, there is an access road for some of the other people that live or work down there. Behind that, below that, is a farm. And that farm actually is below level for any building of any structure other than the farm, because we do see water constantly looking out from here to where there's a floodplain. And if there were to be an addition right here, we would be backing up right up against some of the homes that would be downhill and over a ravine from where we are. There is a large ravine between this area and the new proposed area. So I don't know where the water will end up going from us to there or from them to there, but it seems as a potential hazard, especially because this is a floodplain. I also note that our property on this map literally is adjointed to the proposed new builds. And it, again, as someone has already spoken, depending upon what is proposed to be built there, it could potentially decrease our value in our home because there are sewer, water, floodplain. How are they going to receive the electricity and the gas? And the length of time that it might take would be a construction zone in our backyard. So therefore, I do oppose this proposal, not to have any fault for anyone. It just seems as though there might be a better option than to try and extend the area that has been known as Legendary Hills for over a quarter of a century. Thank you.
Any questions? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I had Amber put the contours on there so you guys could see the contours. That'll be better, that way you have a better view of it, of what they were talking about. You, Ms. Gee?
Good evening, I'm Ann G. I'm the vice president of our HOA and thought it would be best if I just wrapped it up because I think there's maybe some questions that you might have for me. And I think that I will start by saying you've heard by several of our residents the opposition that we have, not just for this plan, but also just for the subdivision in general. So not just for the road, but just for how this is going to change or shift what happens for Legendary Hills. There's a lot of concerns there. So the opposition is just in general for the subdivision and that it shouldn't go in. So with that, I think that, Bill, you had a question in regards to the HOA fees. Yes, we do charge HOA fees. It does cover the snow removal, the mowing. So we do actually we mow on both sides of this road right here, and also for the Legendary Drive, we do the snow removal every year. We also do repairs on the road. So we've got, we do all of the coverage for that, for Legendary Drive, in addition to everything else, but you guys don't care about that today. And so that does cover that. Did I answer that question for you, Mr. Rumbaugh? Did I answer your question about the HOA fees and what that covered for the road? And the,
Is that road a county highway? County
No.
road?
it is not, it's part of, it is, we as Legendary Hills Association have easement access, but we as the association actually maintain all of the road and also the On both sides of it, there are grassy areas, and we maintain both of those areas. We cover the cost.
Is there a fee to this, to each homeowner?
To each homeowner, yes, we pay HOA fees.
Thank you.
The new association that they're putting in, according to the bylaws that I looked at, does not show anything of them paying fees to us that would cover these. And we just got this, and that is one of our concerns, is there was conversations, we were told it wouldn't be an HOA. Also, the letter we got in the mail said that we would need to go and look and get the information ourselves. We did that. We've had to keep coming back several times and having conversations with Ms. Parker, and she's been fabulous, but had we not kept coming back and asking questions, and we would have gone with first plan, we wouldn't have gotten all the information that we got. So it hasn't been very clear along the way. I think you've heard from our residents that it has not been a very clear-cut information. So very concerned about what, if it hasn't been this clear-cut from the beginning, what's gonna happen when a new subdivision goes in? What's that gonna be like for us? So I don't know what questions, I'm really here to answer questions for you guys as the vice president of our HOA and make sure that you guys feel comfortable what questions you guys might have.
Do you have an easement for that portion that's not on your property, that portion that comes down over the hill? Is there an easement for that?
Are you talking about that Legendary Drive?
Yeah.
Yes, it's in our bylaws, in our declaration, yes.
Okay.
And it's on our, if you go to our website, you can actually read on it, and it has all the boring, which some people don't find it boring, but all those points are in there, and it's also listed in Mr. Collier's, his title as well, his deed as well. Same information, it just says we have easement access.
Okay, okay. Any other questions? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for listening, and hopefully you guys will oppose for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Droplik, would you like a rebuttal? Yes, please.
So this is a typical example when nobody ever wants development next to them, and I understand that. But I also understand that before this property was developed, it was a beautiful piece of property as well. A lot of wildlife and everything else was on it as well, so that's part of growth. The amount of the density that we're asking is 6 homes on a piece of property that could easily handle 20 to 30. So I think that we are looking at it from not trying to inundate the area with that many homes. One of the things, when they talked about this easement for Legendary Drives, they're actually maintaining outside of that easement. The roadway is probably for the roadway itself. It's not for the landscaping, it's not for anything else other than the roadway itself. So in theory, it may be considered trespass on the Colliers, but he's not complaining about that. As far as the changes in the location of the existing road, originally, I will say, that originally we had the road stubbed out and connecting right into Deer Run. It would be the shortest route, least amount of construction. But that would be taking it through the HOA's owned street right-of-ways. The 50-foot right-of-way that we're proposing, it's not a 50-foot wide asphalt pavement. 20 to 24 at the most. So it's a right-of-way. It's not, or an easement. It's not an actual 50-foot wide across. Can we run drainage over to other people? Absolutely not. If we run drainage over on other people, then we're liable for damage. So we can't do that. As far as the location of the road, we looked at it, and that was at the, how we laid that out was at the direction of our client. And Mr. Presnell, I believe when Mr. Collier did meet with members of the HOA, and with that, I would like to have him come up and just sort of elaborate on how we've gotten to where we're at today as far as that road location. While he's making his way up, I did look at those proposed sites that they had on the drawing with the A, B, and C locations. A is, of course, where we're proposing that the drive be constructed at this point. B is through an adjoiner's property, which it is Mr. Presnell's property, but that would be running it through another piece of property. C is not a viable option whatsoever. That is not a county road. We have no easement to that, so we have no access to that. So that's not a viable option at all. So just to point that out. So, Mr. Presnell.
I'm Kevin Presnell on the property to the, I guess it'd be the southeast of this property, and I've just been helping Mr. Collier as a neighbor. Hadn't been through the process before. At Laura's recommendation, we met with the HOA, and the original layout, Rodney Collier's access now is through Deer Run, the road that Ross talked about being stubbed in here. That's his access and his house up there, and he's on city water and sewer. And that was stubbed there like there's one or two other stubs in that subdivision for future development of the undeveloped ground. So it's always been anticipated, I think, and Ross has done all the engineering, that this would be developed at some point. So when we met, the original layout was to go out Deer Run. But I thought you all said you guys had a drainage problem down here by the retention pond and everything. And was there an alternative route to it? So Mr. Collier's volunteered to put it where it is now, behind the houses, there on that lot number 2. So I thought that was the concession, that he had said he was going to do that. We also then went down the road. I think they thought at that time that Levi Holdings owned on all the road, but Rodney owns to the middle of the road. And so we went down there, and they have an issue with the drainage and stuff. So Mr. Collier's offered, he suggested one of the reasons that their water runs out, well, one, it runs down through his property, but also it runs out in the road. But he had pointed out that during some of their recent construction, they filled the ditch in on his side. So that's one of the reasons it's running out in the road there at the bottom. He also offered there on lot 2, there's an old retention type area there, and he had offered also to help you guys to be able to retain some water, because you can't run it all the way down the hill, that steep a hill, without slowing it down somehow. It'll all wash out, which is what it's doing now. But back to the issue of the drive, I thought Mr. Collier's had addressed that, because you all were not interested, asked if there was an alternative route rather than the one he already has access to on Deer Run. Did I miss that? May I respond? Yeah, please. I might have misunderstood.
At that meeting, it was a conversation of which they brought up both of those options. They'd already discussed those. And so as we were walking down the road, they showed us where that stake was and that they were going to put in that back road. JP and I, we walked up, we looked at the site of where they said that that road was going to go in, and that was news to us. Thank you.
Somebody mentioned that being at the top of the hill. If you put the drive down further on the side of the hill would cause a problem. Ideally, we thought putting it at the top of the hill, so if somebody comes out this drive, you can see to the right or the left. I'm not sure about any blind spot. But anyway, one solution is just go back to what was originally planned, and why that road was stubbed in there is just have Mr. Carter go out Deer Run. And that would be an easy change.
Could you say that again?
Say that again. Repeat what you
I said, the solution, instead of, if they don't now want it to come out over there on the Legendary Hills Drive, just let it go straight, not be a curve right there, and just go out Deer Run, which is the road that was stubbed in for this property for future development anyway. And that's the road, that's the Rodney's access now and drive in. But like I said, I must have misunderstood. I thought they would rather it went where Ross moved it behind those lots. The other mention of Clover Lane, somebody mentioned Clover Lane, that's a private drive. Rodney has property on that road, but our understanding is it's private drive that I think the Maxwell's own. And so that's not really an option either in there. So, yeah, I think Ross already discussed the wildlife habitat deal. And then the 50-foot wide road, it's not 50-foot wide, it's just the other. But I think everybody knows this property was going to develop sooner or later, and it's not fair to Rodney. As he bought this for an investment at some point, he knew that, and he's wanting to retire and just develop his property under the current laws. I don't know why he's doing it in 6 instead of, as Ross said, 20 or 25. Just like Legendary Hills has a lot higher density in there for the same development, and he just didn't want to look at as many houses, so he just wanted to do a minor plat. So. Next last slide is up, mentioned the lot way around to the west and the drainage down there. There's huge ravines. The last thing, if water was to back up to her place, Martinsville would be about 12 foot underwater. So I don't know how you'd get water clear up on that hill from those ravines, and you can see that from the topography. And the lots are laid out to where that light area, smart enough to run it, the light area right here is where the road goes down. That's the highest point, and that's your building sites. Nobody's going to build down in a ravine as such in there. So it was all laid out. Ross laid it out with the topography, which, like he said, he did that 20 years ago. But as far as shooting the topography, so we don't think anybody's going to build down in a low area.
Mr. Droplik, I got a couple of questions for you real quick.
Sure.
How many cars will be added, do you think?
Well, I mean, if we've got, let's discount Colliers as an existing house.
They're already there.
Yeah, they're already there. So we're adding another 5 homes.
5 homes with 3 cars a home, roughly?
If we said, even if we said 3, 2 trips a day, 315, 30 trips. Now, that's not that high of a count.
Okay.
It's just, the density is the big thing here. There's such large lots. Are the neighbors going to potentially see a house? Well, maybe they will. I don't know. But a lot of those lots are further away from the existing homes. You've got a lot of woods that's up there in that area. So, I mean, that standpoint, is property values, that's not really a plan commission concern. It never has been as far as property values. But growth typically does increase value. And if you're going to come in here and buy these size of lots, you're not going to put a small house on it because of the cost that's going to be associated with it. So, I envision this as being larger houses, more of estate homes, but, I don't know. But I don't know.
The other question I had was, does the Colliers pay homeowner association fee now for the roads? They don't help pay, and they use the roads? They do use the roads. Okay.
Are they invoiced or not?
He is not, because he has easement access, but if we add, right, that's what our concern is, that we're adding 6 more people, 5 more homes into this, and they're not going to be part of the association. So either we should make them part of the association, make them part of our Legendary Hills.
Is that an option you have, Ross, to, I mean,
Well, of course it would be an option. I mean, if if the homeowners association said, fine, let's use Deer Run, let's use our streets, you guys pay homeowners association dues to help support, to me, that would be a viable solution. But I cannot speak on that
Yeah, I
part
know
of
you can't
Mr.
speak
Collier's.
on his behalf, I understand that. It just seems to me, if Mr. Collier was using it, he probably should have been paying some kind of homeowner's fee just to help him maintain the road. It just seemed logical to me.
And I don't disagree at all, so, but, you know, like I said, it's one of those that, you know, I don't know how that's gotten to this point, but it's been to that point
Yeah.
for some time.
Yeah, that's such a strange situation, you know. Normally, there's an easement through there, normally there's all kinds of different stipulations, and they're just not there right now.
Yeah, so that, you know, so that's why we initially then decided that we would avoid going through there. Then that would be eliminating that access point through Legendary Hills, so that would remedy even the one house. But that, you know, I believe that there's probably room for negotiation there, but I mean, that would be something Mr. Collier would have to,
Initiate, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That's the question I had. You got any other questions for Mr. Dropling?
I just wanted to go back and visit that statement that you made about them potentially trespassing on Legendary Drive by there. I thought they had an easement or something for maintenance there.
No, well, I have not read the easement, I will say that. But if it is just an access easement, it would be only to the rights to use the paved area that's there. They would not own any of the property, would not have any of the rights to anything but what is used for the physical access, which would be the road. So if they're maintaining it, there's entry gates down at the bottom of the hill, there's a cul-de-sac at the bottom of the hill. I don't know whether or not that's within and covered by the easement. I do not know that. I cannot state that
Okay.
positively.
Okay, that was just a,
Yeah, so,
I guess I just don't understand why the homeowners association would take it upon themselves to do snow removal and maintain that road and this, that, and the other, if they didn't have an appropriate easement. And in fact, it is the only way for them to get in and out of their homes.
I think you just answered your own question. It's their only way in and out, so if they want to be maintained, they're going to have to do it because no one else is.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I don't mean to mean that in a bad sense, but I mean, that is their only access.
Well, okay,
All right.
that's fine.
Thanks, Ross. Any other questions for Mr. Dropling? No. Thanks, Ross.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Parker, would you step up here real quick for a second? We've got your staff recommendation. Can you go over the land use for this, the recommendation for us?
The future land use portion?
Yeah.
So as we can see on the map here, we've got an area, if we were to zoom out, we would see, and you do have some handouts in your packet that show, there you go, yeah, show all of the flood area and how the,
Portion, all that's flood area down below the hill.
right, and this area is sort of like an island surrounded by a lot of it. So that's why a lot of this area in the comprehensive land use plan, in this area was identified for, natural resources and recreation, which is common for us to do in those areas where we've got a lot of heavy floodplain. So in this case, that helps, for better or for worse, retard some types of development. But in this here, we've got, a subdivision here, and there's some over here, there's even some down here and off in this direction that have developed through years before maybe the floodplain was extended or was identified as much as it is now. But I called out the fact that this has already existed. It's a high point. There's really no risk at all of flooding. So it's not necessarily a crazy idea to think that development would occur there, as it already has, not related to the floodplain.
I just wanted a clarification. I was reading that, and I needed a clarification on that. Any other
Okay,
questions?
any other questions for me?
Anything else for her? Nope, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, this closes our public portion of the hearing. Floor is open for discussion. Well, I'll start it real quick.
Say,
I mean,
go ahead. Yeah, I'll
I
chime
think the big question is access point. And I'm not sure if you've ever drove up that hill, that's steep. I mean, all the way to the top. And it'd be best to use the existing drive as their access if at all possible. It's not a lot more traffic on the roads. I understand they don't want it developed, but it's one of those things, you know, property's going to develop, and it's just the way it is. And I know it's a nice piece of property. They got nice ravines. It's not going to be an easy development to work in because of that topography of that ground. There's select sites that each lot will probably have to go on that site because there's no other place for it to go. But that's the owner's concern. They're the ones that's wanting to split this up. There may be lots that you can't build. I don't know with that topography. It's going to be a high price to build in there, so it's not going to be, the houses are going to be pretty high priced to even put one in there. So, but my concern is the drive, the access point. The homeowners association has every right, in my opinion. Now, we do not control homeowners associations at all, but if they're accessing that at all, they should be paying maintenance on that road if it's a private road. Some kind of homeowners maintenance on that. Now that,
the new
yeah, whoever is, even the Colliers for using it, in my opinion, if I lived there, I'd help pay for the roads. So we can't force that one, that's up to them, but I mean, if we're looking at putting new cars on that road, they should have a right to recoup that fee, the user fee for that road. So that's my opinion. I think it'd be good if we could have you guys get together and work out a way to come off that road in that subdivision. Now, that's my opinion. So, because that's the most logical access point.
I agree with you, Terry. It feels to me like there just hasn't been enough discussion yet between the one who wants to develop and the homeowners association. And I really would like to know a little bit more about that whole easement thing that y'all are maintaining out there that, you know, you may be voluntarily doing that maybe somebody else should be doing. I don't know, but I agree with Terry. If you're putting, you know, 5 more homes up there, then, and they're accessing it through that road, then there should be some obligation on their part to, you know, to help maintain it, so.
Yeah, and if I was doing it, I would get that other drive specified and get easements and get all that worked out at the same time, if that was me. Because that's just a liability hanging out there for both parties, so.
I tend to agree. I mean, at the end of the day, we're kind of limited up here in terms of minor plats and what we can do, but it just seems like the common sense approach to this hasn't been applied.
No, I don't think so on it.
And
The
there's an
communication.
existing drive, seems the easy thing to do would to use that and get together and work it out. So.
And the homeowners association seems amenable to that idea, but it doesn't seem like that discussion's actually taken place in an appropriate manner where there was some agreement come to it, so.
Would you be opposed to working with them?
I think I could speak on Mr. Collier's behalf at this point, that if we were allowed to table the petition, we could go back and have discussion, but likewise, you sort of leverage the homeowners association then to be able to say if they're not in agreement with this, then it kills the development. You know, if they are not willing to work with us to allow us to come in under terms agreeable, that they can, you know, they can stonewall us from being able to develop as well, to no fault of our own.
I don't think that's the intent. The intent is
Yeah, I
trying
know.
to use the most logical spot.
Yeah.
And then if you
And-
can't come
and-
to agreement, then you come back
Oh,
and then we'll discuss it.
And we don't disagree at all, because it's less road for us to build.
Yeah,
It would be so much easier.
be much easier for you.
Yes,
as
it
well.
would. So, I mean, so we're all in favor of that, but like I said, if the homeowners association and the adjoiners are adamant that they don't want development there, then they could essentially stop it by saying, no, you're not gonna be allowed in, admitted into our homeowners association. So that's the one thing that I don't wanna get
Want that.
caught
Yeah.
by.
You don't want to caught on that.
And-
What
and
we're
there-
asking you to do is just try to negotiate in that the most logical location. And if you can't come to terms, then we'll come back and we'll figure
Okay.
out what we need to do.
You know, quite honestly, I believe that is a fair approach, and I think it's the best approach.
And so my question for you would be, how long do you think you would need to do that? Would a 60-day extension take care of that for you?
Well, if it would be acceptable, why don't we just leave it at 30 until the next meeting? If we cannot come to an agreement by then it be done within 60 days. You know, so keep us on the agenda for the next month meeting.
Well, one suggestion might be,
Yeah.
to your question there, Terry, while everybody's here, just say, okay, if the Colliers are in agreement to allow their lots to be part of the homeowners, or pay the dues, to pay the dues. If they, no, they don't want to wait that long. That's why they had us come in here while they were still on vacation.
Yeah, and we,
But let's just decide now, said, okay, well, the HOA, if the lot owners in there, which was probably intended initially, if the lot owners in there are in agreement to pay the HOA fees for the whole association,
Okay,
I mean, they're already,
All right, we need to do that you guys need to do that negotiation
Yeah.
between yourselves, not between us, because that's not our
Yeah.
issue.
okay.
Uh,
But
I say I like Melanie, we'll give you 60 days, and if you can't do it in that time, you notify us, and we'll give you an extension to that.
But let's confer with Mrs. Parker. I know we have a lot of agenda items coming up here do we need 90 days to get it on an agenda to give it
Yeah,
full
we're-
consideration?
We do have a lot coming up.
Okay. Okay,
Okay,
okay.
just
We'll-
ask
we'll
for
go
an
30.
extension,
Okay.
we'll go, okay,
All right.
30 at a time. Thanks, Ross.
Okay, so just to clarify then, there's so many different days have been thrown around. What are we looking at potentially coming back to the planning commission?
November,
In November? okay.
November, yes.
Right, then we will get a hold of
And
Mr.
if you-
Collier. and-
you can't, well, we haven't got a motion yet, but that's probably what the
Yeah,
motion's gonna be.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, yeah, okay,
I'm assuming that we'll get to that point.
okay. All right, thanks, Ross, appreciate it. All right. November 10th. All right, do we have a motion to table this until November 10th, to give them time to figure out a few of these issues?
I'll make a motion that we table MIP 25-15 for, until the November meeting.
Second?
I second.
Melanie seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
All right.
You've got 60 days at this time.
All right, thank you very much for your consideration.
Bill, we need you to step out.
Go away. Go away, bother me, boy. This impacts my family, so I'm going to step out away from this portion of the meeting.
That's this one, too. On. Item B, public hearing for minor plat petition MIP 2516. Stephen Jessup is seeking approval for a 3-lot minor plat totaling 32 acres. The property is located west 10704 West Louisville Road in Ashland Township and is zoned ag. Who is, Mr. Shepherd, are you representing?
Yeah, I'll represent him. If you need to talk to him, he can come up later too.
We Might make him come up, I don't know. State your name and address, please.
My name is Michael Shepard. I live at 2178 South Denny Hill Road, Paragon, Indiana. And, yeah, Stephen hired me to do this. Really, our main thing here was this Lot 1, 11.97 acres. His wife's nephew wants to build a house there. And then in the process, we also did this Lot 2 because he believes Mr. Cones that he sold the prior tract to, which was our exempt, which is why we now have to do a minor plat. Wants to have a buffer out to the road, which is a swamp. He's not planning on building there. It's kind of a nature preserve. And then in the process, we kind of isolated this other tract. We didn't even realize at first, so they had us call it a Lot 3. It wasn't really our intention to make a Lot 3, but that's how it came out, which is really just a crop field. So ultimately, we end up with a 3-lot minor plat. And at this time, the only intention of building is on Lot 1.
So the intent is just the one house on one then?
Yeah, a house on Lot 1. They're wanting to break ground just as soon as they can.
So Lot 2 is or is not buildable?
I'm not gonna say it's not. There could possibly be a little section at the very east side, but the vast majority is not for sure.
There's not much there on the east side.
No, and you wouldn't really, as a standalone lot, to put a drive even to the east side would be, it's a swamp.
Okay.
Mike, is there a reason you didn't put 2 and 3 and just make one lot there?
I don't think he's worked a deal for sure, have you? With Mr. Cones, you haven't for sure worked the deal with him, have you, to buy it? Yeah, lot 2, is there a reason we didn't just go ahead and add it to his existing? Have you have it sold for sure, or are you just kind of proposing it to him?
Hang on, you'll have to come to the mic. It needs to be on the mic. This was Mr. Jessup, the petitioner.
Yeah, Steve Jessup, 10704 West Louisville, Paragon, Indiana. When we originally cut the 5 acres off that Sam Combs had purchased from me was supposedly for my, at that time, ex-daughter-in-law, so our grandkids could live close to us. And after Mr. Shepard had surveyed the 5 acres, she said, well, I want 10 or I'm not going to do it. And I said, well, you just talked yourself out of 5 acres. And anyway, Sam Cones has been a reserve deputy for Morgan County for years. He's worked for Homeland Security. He's retired now, and he would like to move back out here. So I sold him the 5 acres. Well, he wanted a little more for deer hunting, and that lot is basically a swamp, but it's good deer ground.
Well, it's definitely swamp.
It's not buildable. The 5 acres, original 5 acres is. It says Sam Cones on it now, but, well, I think it's clearance, but, and Teresa's nephew, Casey Goss, I don't know if you know Casey or not, but, him and his family would like to build a house there on that ridge on Lot 2.
On Lot 1, right?
Or Lot 1, I'm sorry.
Okay, only question I had was the reason for not including that in Lot 2 and Lot 3 together, but if you've got a reason for it, that's fine. I was
Well,
just curious.
Sam didn't want that much extra, plus it's just bare ground that Billy, my brother-in-law,
Yeah.
Billy Campbell.
Okay,
And,
okay, well, that's fine. I just want,
and you're right, it's not buildable, it goes underwater.
it's not
about
buildable, and that's
twice
why
a year.
I was like, why didn't we just add it into to 3, because 3's not buildable either, really, so, yeah.
No, it's
Neither
not.
one of those lots are buildable, okay.
The reason, I didn't want to put an easement across there, I made that part of the 10 acres.
Yeah.
up on- Because, in my opinion, an easement's not good, because if I had sold the farm later on, some guy could put up 10 gates. I mean, he can't keep Casey from using it, right? But he could put up 10 gates and make him open and close them every time.
And I think that's a good option, make sure they own the ground all the way up to the road. That's best for the people owning it, there's no question that way. All right, that's the only question I had. Anything else you'd like to add? Any questions for Mr. Shepard or Mr. Jessup? Nope. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We have no one in opposition. Ms. Parker, anything you'd like to add? No? Okay. Public portion of our hearing. Floor is open for discussion and/or a motion.
I move that we approve MIP-25-16.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Move on to item C. It's a public hearing for minor plat petition MIP 2517. John Larison from Holloway Engineering on behalf of Guy Nicholson and Cragen Revocable Living Trust is seeking approval for a one-lot minor plat consisting of 2 acres. The property is located immediately north of 4391 Cragen Road in Green Township and is zoned ag. Mr. Larison, state your name and your address, please. Come on back, Bill. Sorry.
Hi, Bill. I'm John Larison, Holloway Engineering. We're at 100 Professional Court in Mooresville, Indiana. And I am here again on behalf of Nick Craig, and he owns roughly a 50-acre parcel. This parcel accesses Cragen Road by way of an existing gravel stone drive. That same stone drive services his home. We were here roughly 2 years ago with Amelia's Homestead minor plat. That was the minor plat out of the same parent parcel. Those 2 lots sit south and east of the current lot that we are dividing. And Nick just basically is planning to give this lot to his sister, so she can build a house there. It will be serviced with well and septic field. And like I said, accessed by the existing 30-foot wide access and utility easement, for which we have a maintenance agreement in item 5 in the dedication. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Did you take that down to that easement?
Because he didn't want me to.
He just didn't want it to touch?
No, it's a farming operation there, and he wanted for her to go in through the existing gate and wanted basically to make sure that she stayed on the existing road doing it.
Okay. Oh, I'm just curious. It looked like they just could have come down and touched that.
Yeah, specific reason on the ground.
I'm sure
for
there
it.
was some type of.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Larson? Thank you, Mr. Larson.
Thank you.
Anything to add, Ms. Parker? No? Our public portion of the hearing. Any comments? If not, well, what are you doing? The floor is open for a motion.
Kenny Hill makes a motion to approve minor plat MIP-25-17.
A second? Mr. Humble seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We'll go on to the third item, item D. Yeah, item 3. Do you want? You had to wait a while, huh? Public hearing for minor plat petition. That's not a minor plat, is it? A replat. Vacate and replat.
2 lots of replatted.
Okay. It said minor plat on my agenda. We didn't catch that. So it's a replat, excuse me. Replat RP 2507. Michael Cherry is seeking approval of to vacate 2 lots in Foxcliff Estate South. Replat them as one larger lot. The property is located immediately south of 3230 South Hammond Drive in Washington Township and zoned R1. Mr. Falkenberg. Hey, John, talk to the mic a little more, it's not coming through. Not working. Tap it, John, see if it's,
Battery went dead.
well, it must be dead. First one took too long, it killed our battery. There we go.
Is that better?
That's better. Go ahead.
My name's John Falkenberg with Falkenberg Properties. I'm here this evening to represent Mr. Cherry to vacate 2 lots and replat into one in Foxcliff South so he can build a home.
The only thing I had, John, is we went out and looked at that site. That's got that swell running through the middle of it. What do you plan to do with that?
Part of the home, I mean, we'll change that a little bit, but it'll kind of fix the front ditch a little bit, and then anything like deeper in the lot, we'll make sure we get to that creek in the back, so we're not blocking the neighbor. I know he has a little bit of concern in his back property trying to get through, because I think it's too flat for him to make it to the road, so I think working together, we can make everything go back and help him out as well.
Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly where that water's coming from. Is it coming from that north lot, or where's that water coming from, do you know?
I think a lot of it just comes down the hill, and just like everywhere in there, there's a lot of water just lays with nowhere to go, so.
Yeah.
I think when we elevate the house and we can recut the swell and kind of force the water to go back towards the golf course versus try to make its way up the road.
Don't get it forced on that other property and you'll be okay. That's the only concern I had. Any questions for Mr. Falkenberg? No? All right, thanks, John. Ms. Parker? Yeah, it's pretty standard. The lots are hard to build on unless you put 2 together. We understand that. All right, let's close our public portion. The floor is open for discussion and/or a motion.
I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing. Is it a public hearing?
Yeah, I close the public.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve petition RP 25-07 to vacate 2 lots in Foxcliff South and replat them as one larger lot.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Maxwell? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to planning attorney. Mark, you got anything? Nothing from Mark? Laura, you got anything?
Just a reminder that our next meeting is on September 29th, so the month's not over yet.
6:30?
6:30.
I hope not. It's one item. Okay, well, I will call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Who wants to second it?
I'll
Mr.
second
Patrick
it.
will second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you the 29th.